This is your weekly rundown of episode Heresy, week 18, starting on June 3rd. This week sees the final dungeon enter the rotation for the new limited time event Rite of the Nine, which is free to all players with no dungeon keys required. Found in the Eternity node, each week one dungeon will be the featured dungeon for the week, with the Ghost of the Deep, Prophesy, and Spire of the Watcher. This week's dungeon will be Prophesy. Rite of the Nine is available in 3 versions. Explorer mode for guardians who are new to dungeons, with tooltips explaining mechanics, no darkness zones, 5-second revive timer, and waypointing. Eternity mode for more experienced guardians, and Ultimatum mode for a tougher challenge, tougher enemies, tougher modifiers, and greater rewards. With a selection of 12 returning dungeon weapons with updated perks, a new 9 theme aesthetic, and even adept weapons for those who take on the hardest challenge. Weapons available for attuning are the Arc Precision Frame Auto Rifle Prosecutor, the Strand High Impact Frame Pulse Rifle Relentless, the Strand Adaptive Frame Hand Cannon Judgment, and the Void Aggressive Frame Shotgun A Sudden Death. If dungeons aren't your thing and you finished up episode Heresy story, you have some time to catch up before the Edge of Fate begins on July 15th, giving you some time to finish anything from episode Echoes, episode Revenant, as well as Heresy. Or you could complete your Nightfall Conquest Seal, play some Gambit, or even go for Ascendant in competitive Crucible. Act 2 of episode Heresy brought with it the new activity, the Court of Blades. Set within the Dreadnought's Hole of Souls area, players are transported to different arenas across the system, from Io to Europa, and on board a Hive warship. Court of Blades has 2 difficulty options, normal and expert, with adept versions of the Act 2 weapons only dropping in the expert version. Also, the Grandmaster Nightfall node is available, giving Guardians the opportunity to complete their Conquest Seal for this episode. With this node becoming available, this gives Guardians the chance to complete all of the Act's Grandmasters, some of which are now not available. Warden of Nothing on the Dreaming City, Sunless Cell on the Dreadnought, Insight Terminus on Nessus, Psyops Battlegrounds Moon, Lake of Shadows on the EDZ, Scarlet Keep on the Moon, Hypernet Current on Europa, Heist Battlegrounds Mars, and the Psyops Battlegrounds Cosmodrome. Act 1 of episode Heresy brought with it the new 3-player activity, the Nether. Set within the Dreadnought patrol zones, Guardians fight in random and varied encounters with different events and objectives every time. The Nether has 3 modes: the Nether Exploration for those solo types who want to just explore the Dreadnought, a match-made mode on baseline advanced difficulty, and a selectable non-match-made expert version. From Act 3 of episode Revenant, we have the new exotic mission Kell's Fall, where you can earn the new Void Exotic Shotgun Slayer's Fang, and new Prison of Elders challenge Kell's Vengeance, which can be found over in the Last City for 2 to 3 players. Act 2 of episode Revenant brought with it the Tomb of Elders, and Contest of Elders over in the Last City, which can be accessed after you complete the initial steps of Act 2. Also available for a weekly Pinnacle is the Salvation's Edge raid, over in the Pale Heart, and new dungeon Sundered Doctrine, which can be found over on the Throne World, with the exotic linear fusion rifle Finality's Ager up for grabs, and a whole suite of new weapons and armour. Just make sure to visit Encore over in the tower to pick up the quest Drowning Labyrinth to enter. Over in the Last City we have Onslaught Salvation, which can be accessed after you complete the initial steps of the opening act of Revenant. This version of Onslaught brings with it new defences, 3 maps that are not in the Vanguard playlist version, and new enemies to fight. You can select from Widow's Court, Eventide Ruins, and Kell's Grave, either normal or expert. Also, the original Onslaught has been updated to include some of the new additions. Located in the Vanguard playlist, the featured Onslaught map this week will be Vostok, with the Siege Hook Ogre kicking off the boss rotation. In the Last City on the Helm, the exotic mission Encore is still available, with 2 difficulty options, normal and expert. Also, from episode Echoes, we have the 3 new Battleground activities, Delve, Conduit, and Core, with Enigma Protocol and Breach Executable. The expert Battlegrounds will start this week's rotation with Conduit. The Dreaming City this week is at a weak curse level, which means Petrovenge can be found in the Strand, and has the Broken Courier mission for the next week. The Blind One features Scorn enemies and the Plagues, Sigrus and Veracus. The Ascendant challenge will be the Agonon's Abyss over in the Battleground Wishes Lost sector. On the Moon, the weekly story mission is Beyond. The Trove Guardian is located in Archer's Line, while the Wandering Nightmare is the Nightmare of Zoltal in Sorrow's Harbour. Nightmare hunts Crota, Despair, Omnigul, Anguish, and Fanatic Insanity. The Altars of Sorrow will start this week's rotation with the Nightmare of Tanix and the Apostate Sniper. On Europa this week, Coradis the Dark Priestess will be the Empire Hunt, Eventide Ruins will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo challenge will be Survival. Dares of Eternity expert difficulty rounds are Kabul, Taken, and Crota. The Scatterhorn armor set and the Lightkin armor set will be available in Dares of Eternity with Weapon Set 3. Chroma Rush, Ignition Code, Grid Skipper, Farewell, Sonja's Tale, Shattered Cipher, Main Ingredient, Long Shadow, Last Dance, Toil and Trouble, Wishbringer, and Last Perdition. The Witch Queen weekly story mission is The Cunning, Altar of Reflection's Choice, and Altar of Reflection's Insight. The Wellspring activity will start the week on Defense, with the Arc Grenade launcher Tarnation and Vazul Solar Scorn Chieftain as the boss. The Lightfall weekly mission is Breakneck, the Partition mission will be Backdoor, and the Vex incursion will be Zephyr Concourse. In the Pale Heart, the exotic mission Dual Destiny is still available for teams of 2 Guardians, where you can farm the mission to earn as many new prismatic exotic class items as you like. The final straight cooperative focus campaign mission this week will be Descent. The 12 Guardian match-made Excision mission is also available next to the race for a weekly Pinnacle, with the Grandmaster version granting the Ergo Sum Catalyst and an Ascendant Shard. The Salvation's Edge raid challenge this week is the 5th encounter, Zenith, called Coordinated Efforts. The Root of Nightmares raid challenge this week is the 3rd encounter, Macrocosm, called Cosmic Equilibrium. The Vow the Disciple challenge this week is the 4th encounter, Rogue, called Looping Catalyst. The Vault of Glass challenge this week is the 3rd encounter, Templar, called Out of Its Way. The Deep Zone Crypt challenge this week is the 1st encounter, Crypt Security, called Red Rover. And the Last Wish challenge this week is the 2nd encounter, Shirochi, called Witch. Featured Pinnacle Raid 1 will be Kingsfall over in the Legends tab, and featured Pinnacle Raid 2 will be the Garden of Salvation over on the Moon, with all challenges available for all encounters. With the exotic scout rifle Touch of Malice being farmable from the final boss in Kingsfall, and the exotic trace rifle Divinity being acquired via completing the raid puzzles in Garden. Also, the Garden of Salvation weapons are now craftable, with the red borders being farmable for the week. Plus, you can grab a quest from Hawthorne in the tower for a guaranteed red border on a full completion. Featured Pinnacle Dungeon 1 will be Duality over on the Derelict Leviathan on the Moon, and featured Pinnacle Dungeon 2 will be Vesper's host over on Europa. The exotic mission rotator will be Node Override Avalon, with Excalibur Exotic Glaive being the main reward, and the Season of the Defiance weapon set. The exotic missions, the Whisper and 0 Hour, will also be available in the Legends tab. We have now had all of episode Heresy's challenges over the first 16 weeks of the episode. So, as a reminder, if you complete 108 out of 112, you can get a large pile of Bright Dust to spend at the Eververse store in-game. Lost Sectors, Tuesday Vel's Labyrinth on the Cosmodrome, Wednesday Exodus Garden 2A on the Cosmodrome, Thursday Aphelios Rest on the Dreaming City, Friday Chamber of Starlight on the Dreaming City, Saturday Hydroponics Delta on Neptune, Sunday Gilded Precept on Neptune, and Monday Thrillerdrome on Neptune. The Grandmaster Nightfalls continue this week with our 18th featured Nightfall, which will see us face off against Obok Hole in the reprised SC1 strike, the Sunless Cell, with the Rake Angle Glaive as the featured adept weapon. The 6v6 playlist will be Control, the 6v6 Quickplay mode should be Mayhem, Survival should be in the small team's Quickplay, and Zone Control should also be available, with Trials of Osiris at the weekend. This week should also see bonus Vanguard Reputation, and double Nightfall drops available all week long. And as a reminder, the annual Moments of Triumph continue, with a collection of 33 challenges celebrating everything you've been able to achieve in this past year. If you've been active, you'll likely already have some of these completed, which just gets you closer to the 26 you'll need to earn the 2024 seal and title. Still available is the Destiny 10th Anniversary in-game celebration event, and don't forget to keep an eye on Zer this Friday at Reset to see if he's offering another chance to grab a random rolled exotic class item for 41 strange coins. And that's it for the 18th week of the Final Shape episode Heresy. Thank you for watching, Allons-y.